Hey, I'm Miami Herald sportswriter Manny Navarro, joined by my buddy here, Charles Fishbein of Elite Scouting Services. And Charles, you and I have watched a lot of football in this state for about 2 decades now. I'm beginning to get some gray hair. I don't know if you got any in there, but we've been doing this a long time and talking recruiting for years. And let's talk about this signing class, the 2016 class. Right now they got 16 commitments, the Hurricanes. Got 6 kids from down here in South Florida, more than any other college at the moment. I think Michigan might end up getting 6 also. But what do you think particularly about the South Florida recruits, a guy like Sam Bruce? You and I have talked about him so much, just being able to keep him and what that meant.
I think that's the number one thing Miami had to do going into signing day this year is, one, maintain, keep the guys committed that they had committed all year, and with the new staff, and then bring in a few guys sprinkled in. But Sam Bruce, to me, is the foundation of this class. He's a University of Miami kid through and through. He committed early, even through all the pressure, the turnover in coaching staff. He stayed committed. I think that says a lot about his character. That, you know what, he stuck to his original guns as far as the school that he picked, and I think he's a big-time player.
Yeah, he's going to be a slot receiver, and receiver is a really important position for this class for Miami. They've only got 6 current scholarship receivers on the team. Stacey Coley being the big guy that's coming back, and but you got a couple other guys that really haven't even played. So you look at it, a guy like Sam Bruce and some of the other receivers in this class that are committed and maybe will be committing on Wednesday to join the class. Who would you say right now, besides Bruce, do you think of the receivers Miami has committed that will be an immediate impact, that will be targets for Brad Kaya?
Well, I think Sam, some of the other guys that are committed to him right now.
You got Deontay Mullins.
Yeah, Deontay Mullins from Gulliver Prep. He's an impact player. You know, you've seen it. He's made the highlight catches on ESPN even. Deontay's one of those guys. He didn't play this year, so he's kind of forgotten. Then all of a sudden he came out, played in the Under Armour All-American game, made another big-time catch that everybody was impressed with. Deontay's a player that could play next year, make an impact, not only on offense, but probably special teams as well.
And the thing with Deontay, of course, we don't know whether or not he's going to academically qualify. That's going to be one guy to watch, whether or not, even after signing day, whether or not he actually gets into UM. His GPA was too low to play as a senior at Gulliver Prep, so he's got some work to do in the classroom. Outside of that, Miami went out. They got some cornerbacks. That was another position to need with Artie Burns leaving early for the NFL. What do you think of the cornerback class? And obviously the guy that they've got there at the top, Tyler Bird, there's a chance he could end up, switching to Tennessee on signing day. How big a loss would that be?
Tyler would be a huge loss because that is a position of need. They lost Artie a year early. They really couldn't afford to lose him a year early. But Tyler's I have him top 4 in the state behind Trayvon and also Chauncey Gardner. He's an impact type player. You saw it in the Army All-American game. He can play press man. He could come off, play off coverage. He could do a lot of things for them. But he's a guy that can play right now, and that's what they need on the defensive side of the ball. 16
commitments right now as we film this Monday here at Miami High. Miami's class is ranked 18th overall by 247 Sports. Linebacker is a position that had to be addressed, and they did. They got 3 guys from different parts of the state. Can you talk about the 3 linebackers, what you like about each of them?
I think the linebacker class may be one of the best in the country. I mean, Miami's, the last couple of years they've signed a lot of linebackers, but through attrition they've lost guys before they were even had a really chance to make an impact. You've seen guys like Gianni Paul go on to Utah, not only start, but be all conference type players. So this is an important class. You look at Shaq Quarterman. He's a guy that they got on early out of Jacksonville. He's another player that's stuck through the process, has been a UM commitment from probably his junior year, never wavered even through all the coaching changes and everything. You look at Zach McLeod out of Santa Lucia's, probably the best player to come out of there since Vince Wilfork, so he's an impact player. And then you see the Pinckney kid out of Jacksonville. We saw him in the state title game, very active, not as talented sideline to sideline, more of a straight line guy, but I think he could play in the middle, give them that same kind of presence that they haven't had since Denzel Perriman played at University of Miami. So those 3 are all impact type players. They could come in at a position of need. Miami doesn't have a lot of depth. Those guys are going to be in the 2 deep from day one.
Yeah, and you talk about positions of need. People have been talking for years about when is Miami going to get the next big-time defensive tackle. They don't have that in this class. They don't have any offensive linemen, but they addressed that last year, so they got enough to sort of survive this year. When you look at this class, what's missing in your mind?
I think the 2 things is you want to really always do well in the O-line and D-line. I think at D-tackle, Miami's addressed the needs the last couple of years at defensive end, the D-tackle position. They really need to, the next couple of days, pull one of these guys in. I think they're on a couple guys that they'll have a shot at. The one sleeper kid that I think they'll have a shot at is Keyshawn Camp out of Lakeland Kathleen High School, Lake Gibson High School actually. He's someone that they may be able to pull in late. They need a guy like that to be in their class. You do not win without having guys up front. The top teams, whether it's Alabama, LSU, Florida State the last couple of years, their strengths have been on the O-line, D-line. That's where Miami's not had the strengths. They have the skill position players, but you need those guys up front.
How would you grade the job Mark Richt has done? I mean, you get thrown in here after a pretty, below average season again for the Hurricanes, and you take over for Al Golden. A lot of local kids that had been part of this 2000 Swag 16 class. They kind of like, all right, forget it. I'm going elsewhere. Can he what would you give him a grade for 2016, and what do you think of 2017 and beyond? Are kids going to start looking at Miami again because of Mark Richt?
One, they got to win. I think that's the number one thing. Kids want to play for a winning program. Can they get to that 9th, that 10th win in the regular season, get to that 10th? They just have to get over that hurdle. Can he do it? Yeah, he can do it. I think they've had a pretty good class considering all of the change, the turnover. That first year for any coach, whether it's been Urban Meyer, Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, that first year at any of the schools that they took over is the hardest year, that transition year. These guys come in for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you're trying to change a kid's mind that has been committed, been offered by a school a year and a half ago. And how do you get a kid that's been offered by a school, recruited by that school for a year and a half, and try to convince them to change their mind in 3 weeks? Not
an easy task, but you know what? Hurricanes are still going to have a pretty good class. I mean, top 20 in the country considering the coaching change. I think that's a victory, and in the end, you get a quarterback in Jack Allison, you get a running back, Travis Homer. You kind of addressed little areas. The one thing is the offensive line, defensive line. We'll see if they can pull some surprises on signing day. For Charles Fishbein, I'm Manny Navarro, and that's your Miami Hurricanes signing day preview. Good job, man.